Hello and welcome to Top Dog TV's Short Sport Shorts. Today is the start of a new series on Champman legends. Nowadays the game is sold under the name of Football Manager and there are still players who can be hidden gems, but the increasing drive towards realism has taken away those wonder kids that could develop into ridiculously good players. In memoriam of a lost era, we begin our salute to Championship Manager and the legends it creates with Cherno Samba, not to be confused with Aston Villa defender Chris. In Championship Manager 0102, many people's choice as the best Championship Manager game ever, Cherno begins as a young lad at Millwall that you can pick up on the cheap. He can be immediately slotted into your team up front and score your goals galore, as well as going on to lead England to glory. However, real life was different for a lad touted to be a superstar from the age of about 14. He did go on to represent England at all youth levels up to under 20, but never made the first team, and ended up playing his international football for Gambia, though just 4 appearances and 1 goal was a far cry from what would have been expected of him. He first came to national attention by scoring 132 goals in 32 games for his school team. Yes, you did hear that right, 132 in just 32 games. It was enough to draw the attention of the big clubs to the youngster currently at Millwall's academy. With big clubs showing interest in him, including Manchester United and Liverpool, Millwall reluctantly agreed to allow him to go and speak to these clubs. Samba spent a few days training with a number of top clubs and ended up deciding to move to Liverpool. That was mainly due to a phone call from Michael Owen as he was on the bus with school kids, telling him he should sign for Liverpool. Samba said afterwards that getting that phone call from Michael Owen was the decisive factor in his choice of Liverpool over his childhood club, Man United. It made him feel they wanted him more. Unfortunately for Samba, Millwall rejected a £2.5 million offer from Gerard Houlier's Liverpool for his signing. Then Millwall chairman Theo Pafitas was outspoken in the press criticising Liverpool as child snatchers. This despite the fact that he himself had agreed that Samba could talk to other clubs such as Liverpool. With Millwall now refusing to play ball with any clubs that made offers, Samba was stuck in limbo. He admits that he spent 6 months out of the game after his move to Liverpool broke down because he was too upset to concentrate on the game. As it turns out, Millwall would have been better taking the offer, as the lad was now getting too big for his boots, as he himself admits. Samba recently said in an interview, "What also didn't help me was I was far above everybody else. I was scoring goals left, right and centre, and instead of working harder, I felt I didn't need to, and I was already there, better than these other players. If we had to do 10 doggies, I would do 6, and I knew I would still get picked to play the next game as well." That caused problems when it came to agreeing schoolboy terms with Millwall. In order to get him to sign forms, Millwall had to agree to guarantee a 3-year professional contract from the moment he turned 17. This was a 14-year-old schoolboy they were giving in to the demands of. Right now, the world was at his feet. He had a Nike endorsement contract, and at the age of 17 he was able to walk into a showroom and buy a brand new car with cash. How many 17-year-olds can walk into a car showroom with £11,000 in cash and buy a car outright? At 14 he was playing with the under-17s at Millwall. At 17 he was still playing with the under-17s, and this was when it really started to go all pear-shaped for him. In 2004 Millwall released him. He had trials with Coventry City, West Bromwich Albion and Leeds United, but all of them rejected him. It was then that Spanish side Cadiz came in for him. Unfortunately for the lad, a knee meniscus injury he'd suffered in the past flared up again and forced him to have surgery on it. That happened just as he felt he was making progress at the club. In order to regain fitness, he was loaned out to Malaga B for a season. He himself says that was when he was playing his best football, as he made 18 appearances and scored 11 goals. Unfortunately, at this point, his pregnant wife was feeling homesick, so he decided to return to England with her. Ian Holloway, managing then Championship side Plymouth Argyle, picked him up on a free on the 31st of August 2006. A month later, Cherno Samba made his long-awaited professional debut in English football, coming on as a 74th minute sub for Ruben Reid at the Ricoh Arena against Coventry City, and scored on his debut. Just 8 minutes had elapsed since he arrived as a substitute. For just a moment it must have felt like all the Championship Manager dreams could come true after all. However, it all went a bit downhill from there, and he was sent on a month's loan to Wrexham in the January. They turned down the option to sign him for the rest of the season, and he returned to Plymouth in the February. Despite another season at Plymouth, he got nowhere, and the following summer he moved to Finland to join FC Haka. Again, it didn't really work out for the lad, and he returned to England once again in the summer of 2009 for trials with English clubs, including Norwich City and Portsmouth. Unfortunately, nobody wanted to sign him, and he ended up joining a Greek second division side, Panathinaikos, in February 2010. He was back in England in 2011, having trials for sides like Forest Green Rovers, Alfreton Town and Mansfield Town. Again, there was no interest in signing him in England, and he ended up going to the Norwegian second division to join FK Tonsberg. Injury plagued him now, and he announced his retirement on the 20th of July 2015. Since retiring, Samba has been working on his coaching badges and did his coaching hours at Liverpool's academy, ironically enough. Sad to say, but nowadays his fame is purely restricted to being a Championship manager legend, even appearing in the official advert for Football Manager 2017. It is all a far cry from the heady days of 2001, when he was back page headlines after receiving an England under-16 call-up at age just 13.